shits. Enough's enough. And clearly, everyone's getting to the shits. Everyone wants smoke today. All types of smoke. Free smoke, hookah smoke, weed smoke, all types of smoke. So let's give a brief timeline, ladies and gentlemen, of Pusha T and Drake. So this is going to be our Cliff Notes version of this. There's still a lot of material that will be missing out, but these are the major key points that have happened from the years of 2001 to present day. So let's start from the beginning, how this all happens. So 2001, pretty much Pharrell and Birdman have an invoice beef over a record. You guys can do your research. Again, this is the Cliff Notes version. There's a beef. Money was not paid that was supposed to be paid with an invoice. That is where this beef started. Hence where Drake and Pusha now inherit this beef, right? 2002, what happened to that boy?
Classic.
Classic. Fire. What happened to that boy?
I put this on my Lord.
Listen, fire. Fire record. Shots were fired on that record, ladies and gentlemen. For those that don't know, go back and check that record. That came out in 2002. That was the first actual beef. It wasn't over Lauren London, all these other rumors that I've read. That is what happened. That is when the beef started. Fast forwarding a little bit more, there was then Malice in 2006 subbing on Mr. Me Too. Felt a way about a few comments that were made from Wayne. Felt a little bit a way about something that Birdman had said in an interview. And that is when Mr. Me Too pops out. And then on top of that record, they then do the Dunce Cap record, which also came out in 2006. Mm. Fast forwarding some more, we now have 2007, Wayne Complex interview. When Pusha T is brought up in this interview, Wayne, and I quote, says, "I don't see no fucking clips." That is the comment. He then said, "They had to do a record with us to get hot." Disrespect.
Beef.
Disrespect. Shots fired. 2007, right? Fast forwarding a little bit more, 2011. Push, Don't Fuck With Me. Jabs on that record. Go look it up. Jabs on that record across the board. Then in 2012, we have another jab on Exodus. Another record. That the Exodus record for me was very, very direct. If you haven't seen that record, go look at it. The visuals are very gritty. Niggas is on fucking mongoose bikes, smoking weed, playing video games, and just firing shots at Drake directly. This is a direct shot at this point. There's no refuting this. Go do your research. After that, Wayne feels a way about this record. He then tweets out, "Fuck Pusha T and anyone that loves him." More shots fired, right? So then fast forwarding a little bit more, as it seemed to have simmered down throughout that point, we move to 2013. Tuskegee Leather. That god-awful fire that he spewed out on that record.
Tuskegee?
Tuskegee?
Tuskegee. I always say, you know, sidebar, I always say Tuskegee because of Tuskegee Airmen, and I always mix that shit up. But Tuscan Leather.
Okay.
All black excellence.
Yeah, y'all get the fucking point, right?
Orange and pineapples.
Yes. Shut up, Kyle. Get with the goddamn times, all right? The timeline is accurate.
And chickens.
Listen, whatever. Regardless, that is what happened. Then fast forwarding a little bit more, 2016, we have Free Smoke. That was pretty direct, right? Then we have Push in 2017, HGTV record released. Then we have 2017, Drake, Two Birds with One Stone. And then here we are, present day.
Oh, man. I felt like I just took a ride on the Magic School Bus right here.
Yeah. So now...
the history of Pusha and Drake.
Listen, you gotta add context for people. A lot of people don't know how this beef started. A lot of people are looking at this beef like, yo, why is Drake dissing Pusha?
Like,
and why is Pusha? Yeah, like they don't know.
This is 20 years of beef. Almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years of beef.
It's a lot of beef.
Almost 20 years. And again, a lot of these points that we're bringing up on this episode, there's way more to this. Yeah. There's a lot more to this, but again, it's just too much to cover in such a short span of time.
I was 9 years old.
Yeah. So
I was 9 years old.
Fast forwarding now, present day, I want to start with Pusha's album. So first off, went to the secret Daytona listening event hosted by Def Jam, which was amazingly done. Very, very well put out. The layout was amazing. The artwork was all over the place. The scenery was set up. You know what I'm saying?
We have some clips of it, too.
Yeah, so I'm going to paint the scene for you guys. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at all this shit. They're playing all types of records, all types of Kanye records, all type of Def Jam, Fire, Pusha records. And I'm like, it's heating up in this motherfucker. It's going down. And then we waited for quite some time because you know how artists like to just show up and be artists and be late. But it was worth the wait, I will say. Push comes in full flare. Ugh. Came in just like that. Ugh. Came in just like that. Came through the crowd, dap niggas up. Yo, Push, I see you. He like, what happened to that boy? So he gets on the stage. He's with Prize. He's with Prize. Prize was there. He looked really good. He looked like, you know, he was full of money and a bunch of Yeezy shit he had on. Pharrell was there. Casanova was there. It was a packed event, nevertheless. And we get into these records. So as I'm listening to these records, and again on first listen, record after record, my favorite record to the present day right now is Santeria. Santeria is just ridiculous. The musical compositions in this record, the change-ups, the emotion, for me, I that's my favorite record on here. And then we're narrowing it down at the end of the night. We're narrowing it down, and then Push says, yo, only 7 records. Only 7 records, that's it. You know what I'm saying? We just giving you the quality of music. We give you a masterpiece. And then Infrared comes on. So as soon as you hear the record Infrared...
Did the mood change?
Oh, yeah. The mood changed because in the beginning of it, niggas like, oh, this shit is crazy. And then when that record drops and the sample comes on, niggas just get quiet. And then you start to hear those first coming bars from Push. And niggas is all looking around. I'm looking at a bunch of people like, oh, shit. I'm like, all right. I didn't know that this was still a thing. And then Push goes on to go into the record and obviously talk about what needed to be said. And he said he wanted to get some shit off his chest. And he said that, you know, that's it. You know, it is what it is. He then went on to say that moving forward, good music is trying to change how artists put out music today. Hence the 7 record drops that they are going to be doing. All of the records that are going to be coming out on Good Music will be 7 records. What I will say is that just given some insight, that formula or template is not an original thought. I will say that. I won't elaborate on it. You guys will see very soon. That is not an original thought by the Good Music folks. But we'll save that for another episode. Just reference this episode. Fast forwarding, while the internet is buzzing and everyone you know, are pretty much proclaiming King Push, I noticed some things that were very, very alarming to me. Number one, I noticed that both Def Jam and Push, they didn't really promote the album until I want to say maybe Wednesday, Thursday, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, one of those two. Number two, I noticed that all of Push's interviews, which he did very high-profile interviews. He did Genius, he did 105, he did Hot, he did pretty much everyone that's just supposed to hit in the New York market that are big. You know, yeah.
He did everyone.
He did everyone.
I didn't think that was a pause-worthy thing, but I can understand why.
That was definitely. I had to pause him because he's always pausing me for stuff that are suspect.
He did. He
did everyone
in New York.
But
no, he said he did everyone. That's when I said pause.
All right, I'll take it on the chin. Pause. All right. So, nevertheless.
All right.
I noticed that all of these records, all of these interviews, rather, they all dropped on Friday. The same day the album dropped, which, you know, when you're looking at it, it's like, that's supposed to happen, right? But then I thought about it. What is supposed to carry the album promotion? Meaning, all right, you got a week or maybe 3 days. What is supposed to start the next phase of this rollout going into Monday? what is supposed to carry you to continue to promote the album. Now, I see that Push talked a lot about his merchandise. He talked a lot about
radio.
The radio. He announced King Push radio on Beats One, which is dope. But that's just alarming to me. And then let's keep in mind, Kanye drops this coming Friday. It's just alarming to me, but nevertheless. And then we hear a gasp. We hear a gasp.
Audio sigh.
Yeah,
Listen,
that sigh was deep.
Yeah, let me be clear. If I'm a rapper, if a nigga sighs before he has to send some shots my way, that is disrespect. All right, don't sigh before you're about to diss me, my nigga. Don't sigh and be like, all right, I guess I gotta handle you. That's disrespect.
Yo, Drake sighed as if he asked for extra ketchup and he looked in his bag and it was not there.
Yeah, man. Drake sighed like he left his phone in the crib. Like,
or before he went to go work out, he left his headphones.
Yeah, like like he had to go back to the crib to get some. Like,
and I got to do this work.
When he went to the subway and he forgot his MTA card.
Yeah.
Now you gotta go and buy another one.
It's
when
bad.
you swipe and it says insufficient and you miss your train.
And the train is right there.
Word.
You're just like,
or when you go to McDonald's and they forget the other burger and shit, you gotta go back. Or they forget the apple pie and shit, you gotta go back.
How you fuck about 2 for 1?
The 2 for 1.
You fuck that up.
So yeah. So then this Drake record drops. Ridiculously crazy record, by the way. And then I look at just how Drake approaches this. So let's give some fun facts. So number one, Drake references Virgil. For those that don't know, Virgil was a famous poet. He wrote 3 famous poems that are world renowned. Hence Drake saying, I don't have any Virgils on my camp that I'm holding back. I mean, when I heard the line, I was like, that's a little sketchy. I mean, there's still an elephant in the room with, Party Next Door and a bunch of other artists out there on OVO that aren't really marketed well and aren't really getting the shine and or just due that they're supposed to. But dope line, I get it. It makes sense if you're doing your research. The V.A. Williams line thing, ring line, I thought was very clever. And then he talked about, how he had a signed mic from Pusha, but the signature faded, and that's reminiscent of him saying that he's fading.
Question. Do you also think that the Virgil reference is referring to Virgil Abloh?
I thought about that too. But this, for me, this was a little bit more fitting considering Drake is accused of 3, I think it's 3 records that are ghostwritten. So this made more sense to me.
See, I took it more of the Virgil from the Good Music Camp that's over at Louis Vuitton now, because, again, holding him back. And I thought actually that bar was more so for Ye than it was for...
Well, that's the other thing I want to get into. I want to go back to Push.
Okay.
And the reason why I want to go back to Push is because in the beginning of this, we preferenced how this beef started with Pharrell and Birdman. A lot of the shots, especially in Infrared, are directed at the hierarchy. Birdman, in the record for Infrared, he's pretty much saying, yo, y'all niggas is holding back Wayne. Y'all killed me when I tried to kill Baby for doing the same thing, but when Ross does it, you praise him. But it's coming from a pure place, so we rock with it. But I'm saying the same thing. You guys are holding back an artist that is multi-platinum selling artist, and he still has to tour because his contracts are fucked up. And then on Drake's record, Drake does the same thing. He says, all right, well, let's talk about your man. I had to stretch my hands, B. I had to write 30 hours.
See, that for me was like, I don't know if that was necessarily the kill shot, but that was definitely one of the top 3 ones where it's like, if I'm making that screw face when I heard it, I said, shit, okay. That was, let me go and rewind this real quick.
Now, Kanye did, during the making of Pablo, he did credit Drake. He tweeted out, and he said, I wanted to thank my brother Drake for help with 30 hours and Father Stretched My Hands. So I don't know why that was that shocking, that knowledge. I don't think a lot of people knew that. The reason why I thought it made sense is because Push in Infrared references how niggas are saying, yo, you don't write your rhymes. So to tie that back into, hey, well, all right, you following a nigga that don't write his rhymes neither. So now what's up? Now what we talking about? And it's like, ugh, that was the little bit of a...
Right.
Yeah.
And on top of the 2-hit combo, the fact that he mentioned the fact you're also following a nigga that you're actually older than too. And I'm
yeah, I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
But wait, isn't it, how much older is he?
I mean, it's by a year.
I know it's 1 year, but it's still in rapper bars. It's pretty nice.
I mean, yes,
it's pretty nice. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
yeah. It's 1 year older. 1 year doesn't make a world of a difference, but still some pretty heavy bars.
I don't know. 1 year, your bank account can go from green to red alert. In
That's true. That's true. That's true.
1 year can make a difference. I think the whole for me, just to kind of observe and just watch how everything is transpiring, I'm just so intrigued to how Drake is he's calculating everything. And I'm so intrigued about how he's utilizing the internet for the purpose of conveying his message within the beef and everything like that. Everything from even him specifically putting it on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Every little detail and then what time, when he does it, when even the OVO radio drop is happening and how that is actually within a similar time span as the Push one.
Yeah.
And just so for me, of course the lyrics, he snapped. Drake snapped.
Yeah.
But I was more interested in just how the planning and the structuring of everything with this. I feel like he was planning this for a while. I don't think this was something where Drake just suddenly knew and then he just put that shit out. I feel like this is something that he knew Push was gonna come at him again, and he just kind of set up this rollout plan.
Well, this is the
it's too
thing.
calculating.
For those that don't know how industry rap beefs normally go, at least from my experience, a lot of times when, the industry is very small and people know people. And a lot of times when someone makes a record, they're going to play it for a group of people. They want to hear feedback or they want to just let niggas know what's happening. But a lot of times that does get back to the artist that is intended to do bodily harm to. I'm almost certain that Drake, being very strategic and very smart, he knew that record was coming.
Oh yeah.
Do I think that he heard the record? No. Do I think that this is one big master plan between Kanye and Drake to self-promote all of these albums that are coming out, between Kanye dropping this coming Friday, Drake dropping this Friday, Push just dropped this past Friday? Do I think that they are all in cahoots trying to all uplift each other? No, I do not. But what I will say is Drake is smart because he is capitalizing on it by putting that record out. Because I had it, once I heard the Infrared record and then I saw that the Beats One shit was coming out this past Saturday, I said, oh, Drake is dropping the record, 100%. But then he drops a record before it. So I'm like, oh, he's in attack mode. My thing was this a smart move from Good Music and Push? How strategic Drake can be. And I say this because, and this is really a question for you, Kyle, because you're a Pusha T fan, and I'm a Pusha T fan, but I'm passing the ball to you. Right. Push is clearly passionate in his pen. If you guys saw the 105, the Power 105 interview, the segment where they talk about the Infrared record, and Charlamagne asked him, yo, so if Drake sends shots, are you ready for that smoke? And Push looks at him with arrogance, how dare you ask me that, peasant? How dare you? Right. And he was saying, well, nigga, listen, I'm solidified. You ain't ever got to mention me. Don't mention me with him. He was like, all them other niggas, they write. I draw, I paint, which I thought was a hard just bar without even rapping.
Right. I've even just him saying that, I'm never going to lie. I think Pusha T to his credit, still is disgustingly great with the pen.
100%.
Right? I still think no matter when you got into the clips, whether you got into them, you know, post, because here's my thing, right, with Pusha, right? And maybe you could speak to this with me, right? Because you know him from grinding, you know, we're relatively the same age, but it's weird when Pusha T is painted in the mainstream sometimes, when some people are still acting like, or the way they sometimes, whether they know it or not, devalue when they say like it's coke rap. You know what I mean? Like, for me, at the end of the day, I think Pusha T is an MC's MC. You know, if you take away the drug references and whatnot, the way he puts things together, the double entendres and the things he references, he is a student to the game. But, and I think this is the tell for Drake, I think people tend to discredit that Drake has been combative for a long time. He's been sparring, and also someone who comes from more of the ilk of a spitter like Meek. We saw what happened when Drake went with Meek. I think people don't give Drake enough credit for literally taking the tactics that people think he doesn't do and doubles down on that shit.
Definitely.
Meek Mill's had a great opening bar, great response. Fuck that. I got 2 records. Then on top of that, not only do I have the great song, but then I have a great rollout that makes for social media. Yeah. I thought when he sent that invoice to Pusha to go ahead and put the cherry on top, now you're making sure that not only am I referencing what you're saying, but I'm making sure I'm putting that stamp on it that shows that not only am I in here, but I know my audience and what they're going to do. They're going to make this shit viral.
And then on top of it, after that, I thought he gets the petty award of the year for me right now.
Yeah,
Drake is great at shit like that. He's very spiteful. But after that happens, I immediately think about the record, What Would Meek Do? And then I look at fucking Pusha's timeline, and he does what Meek does and starts tweeting.
Yo, it's kind of like a mind fuck. It's just like, who's Inception, who's doing this to who? Because it's just like every time we double down and drink, especially when they paint him on him being from the burbs, him being from Canada, him not wanting smoke, he's always there, and he's always there to do it in a way where it's more of an MC than people give it credit for.
And also, like, even him releasing that track at a certain point, I feel like he's doing that. So then, when this beef kind of continues, Drake can go and be like, "Yo, you're welcome. I helped you with your numbers more." Like him basically taking ownership in this beef and being like, "Yo, if it wasn't for me dropping this diss track, you may not have gotten the numbers that you're probably getting now."
Well, that's what the invoice is for. He said, I'm gonna send an invoice for the 20 I just sold. He's talking about the 20 units.
Right. But you know what else too? I mean, quiet is kept, to my original point. Even Pusha T being a student of the game, I would expect a response. And I'm looking for that next haymaker for what that counterpunch for Pusha's already have. If Drake drew blood, it wasn't first blood, but now it's time for Pusha. If he's a student of the game, I expect that type of smoke from Pusha to Drake.
Question for you two though. Everyone was like, "Oh, he has to do it within 24 hours. He has to do it within 24 hours." Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that specifically?
Definitely. MC Rule 101. MC Rule 101 for any up and coming artist. If you're a real lyricist. Like, again, I come from the cloth of, everyone knows who Joe. Like, he was one of those types of people that as soon as a bar was spit, everything stops. Everything stops, we are going to record. Like, his turnaround time used to be like an hour, 2 hours. Like, but the general consensus is you have 24 hours to respond. 24 hours. Anything more than 24 hours, you're starting to look a little shady in the light.
And look, it's a long weekend. Maybe might get a little delayed, but I don't know.
Again, when you think lyricist, and I definitely let me be clear, Push to me is a lyricist. Yeah. Like, he can rap. This ain't no cakewalk. I already saw memes and a bunch of people saying, "Oh, it's over. Push is out there." Don't be stupid.
Absolutely not.
Don't be stupid.
It's like you're telling on yourself when you say shit like
don't be stupid. You're letting me know that you're stupid.
But those are the people that don't know this whole timeline.
There's a few people I saw that know this timeline and said that. And I'm looking at them like, oh.
Well, they know how he hasn't died since 2001. So what?
Yeah. So my thing is, you got 24 hours. You got 24 hours to respond, good.
It's probably gonna be on that radio thing.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too. But on top of all of that, and it's back to you, Kyle. Would you consider this Pusha T album a masterpiece?
Yo, masterpiece is a strong word, especially the way we digest media.
Correct.
But I will say, for it to be 7 tracks, for the ability for me to go and play this and repeat it and repeat it, I mean, it's pretty tough. I mean, the one tracks that always stood out to me was the one with Ross. I think Ross and Pusha T have like amazing chemistry, especially when they speak about things that they come from. It's not the first time they get together and they get in.
Yeah.
But that infrared track, just to bring the full loop forward, I mean, I thought, if you're an MC, if you follow like a rapper's career, I think Pusha T's has always been pretty much consistent. But for Puff and for everyone else that have been digesting content for so many different generations, it's great to see Pusha getting the shine he does. But yeah, no album, and I think it's low key disrespectful to go ahead and put out classic immediately. I mean, you may say contender, but until we see, we're in June right now. How we know what the album of the year contender is, and especially even we're putting that classic thing out there, let's give it a moment. But for me, this might be his stellar most body of work because all the fat of it is trim. Yeah.
Over Hell Have No Theory?
Oh, that's what you're talking about strictly with Clips, or you're just talking about Pusha as a solo? Because if we're talking about
all right, so
Clips,
let's say Pusha as a solo artist. Do you think that this is the album that takes him over the hump of when I say over the hump, I mean record sales, I mean stardom, I mean lyricism, I mean, his trajectory. Do you think that this project does it? The rollout, just pretty much everything.
I think this is the best chance. I mean, just the fact of the rollout and the way that they're being pragmatic. I think plus with beef is always going to escalate or elevate anything.
Well, yeah,
too.
now.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me to say right now, I don't want to put that on it. I do think we need to wait this whole weekend and for that first week of numbers to go ahead and say it consistently. But the streets are saying this shit is hard. And more importantly, like we're having the type of debates that I miss when we're talking about hip hop.
Yeah.
2018, just in general, just to have the duality of seeing like J. Cole give these dad talks and whatnot too, and then to have Drake and then Pusha all putting out and being competitive. I think it's just a great time right now to be just taking in hip hop.
So now, this is a question for both of you.
Okay.
Do you think Drake has enough power to ruin all of these good music rollouts? And by I say that, if you think about it, every Friday this month, a new good music artist is dropping. And I want to hear your opinions first, and then I'm gonna give you mine. I'm gonna tell you why I have my stance on it. But what do you guys think?
You go first.
Me? Well, actually, even before I got to that point, I did want to actually talk a little bit about the symbolism when it comes to the number 7.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I missed that. I missed it on the board.
Yeah.
God
So
damn it.
like the number 7 is really unique. It's like the superior number, Holy Trinity number, and then it's like the in between level of the world of life and the world of death, because you have the number 3 plus the number 4, and those have different meanings, and then obviously that equals 7. And in a way, it's really unique that this rollout plan could be the life or the death when it comes to good music.
I was not ready for this, but I'm ready now. Go ahead.
Like in the sense, like, you have all their artists, they're all having the rollouts, they're all having the number 7. And with good music being tied to Def Jam's also rebuilding their brand. And good music too is trying to rebuild and especially more, not even rebuild, but just kind of build on the existing artists that they have, because even prior, like for example, Tiana Taylor didn't get the justice that she deserved when it came to her rollout plan. Like her album was fire, and
definitely.
it didn't get it didn't get the attention that it needed. So I feel like this is kind of the period of time where it's like, all right, like all good music really has to show out, really has to show what they have to do, because this is basically life or death when it comes to the influence, the music quality, and the standard that they're going to be putting forward with not only their current existing roster, but the upcoming one. So I think this is literally like a life or death situation musically and business wise when it comes to their whole existing rollout plan.
Right. I think Drake. I think anytime it's the summertime and we're talking Drake, he always has an opportunity to take over. Is he strong enough to go against who we got right now? We got Tiana Taylor.
So we have it's Ye, it's Ye, then Ye and Cudi, then
Tiana, right?
then Tiana Taylor.
Yeah, and then Nas.
And then Nas, but I'm not really putting Nas with good music.
Oh no! I'm just saying in terms of the rollout.
Oh, the rollout, yeah.
Man, listen, I think we're going to be really surprised to see what these Kanye numbers are going to look like post his baptization and being, Team Trump. I'm curious to see what those album sales look like, and more importantly, I'm curious to see how does the casual fan justify, or if they're comfortable enough doubling down on Kanye post him just being, you know, between Pusha T and also showing the fact that he's the architect for everything that's going to be on Good Music. Because now, are we associating Kanye with just himself and his brand? Because Kanye was the one who bought that Wendy Houston photo that was a little bit of controversy for Pusha T shit, no matter how you feel about it or not. But he's going to be tied to all these artists too. So do I feel like Drake is able to go ahead and compete with the whole Good Music brand? Absolutely. That's me personally, but I also be looking out to see what would happen versus him and Nas, because Nas has dropped something in what, about 5-6 years?
Yeah, about 5 years.
Dead ass summertime is like
it's gonna be fun though.
Drake's Super Saiyan time.
It's his fucking
like
playground,
that is
man.
like
it's basically like him leveling up. It's like, oh, this is what I live for. It's out here.
Yeah.
It's bottle service, hookah.
All right, so let me tell y'all something. This is what
Drake
I think.
Thanos. This is Thanos for Drake.
Yeah,
He is happy right now.
this is what I think.
Thanos.
I think. How can I? I'm just gonna say it. Fuck this shit. I think that Good Music fucked up. I think they fucked up. I think when you put an artist out and you promote records and you promote a body of work that is supposed to be it's titled and named a masterpiece, it takes a little bit more to get it to be a masterpiece when you think about new age media and content today, right? I also think they fuck up because you're dropping records in waves, and by records I mean albums. You're dropping an album every Friday, so every Friday there's going to be a wave. You're undercutting each other. You're not letting the body of work live. So I don't think this is gonna work. I will say again, I prefaced this early. I know that this was not an original thought, and I know that there are a few other people that are maybe attempting to do this. I will say that, and I'll leave it at that. But I think this will be very telling now because Drake again is a very, very powerful artist. He's not one of those artists that lets up. We've already seen him. He's battle tested. I think now with these shots from Drake and now with Drake just in full album mode, Drake is just the wrong person to fuck with when he's in album mode. Like he's just not. He's too strategic. He's very difficult to box in. And he knows how to pick his battles. He knows when to pick these battles.
I mean, he's picking, if you look at it, he's picking some of the dudes out there that have like no really extensive knowledge of social media and the internet.
And that's the other thing. Do we think Push is battle tested like this? Like, is Push battled? Like, really think about what goes into a Drake beef, all that goes into it. You know, have Drake, you know, he was at fucking All-Star Weekend throwing shots at Kevin Hart about me. He was at a baseball game, just a regular softball game that he threw with charged up T-shirts on. Like,
I mean, yeah, that's one part marketing, but it's like I'm not gonna go ahead and take away from Pusha. Maybe he's been itching for this and he has his shit in the chamber. You know what I mean?
True.
But the one thing I will say to your original point, it may be kind of like the way the rollout was. Like, all right, we got Black Panther. This shit drops in February. You know, but maybe we didn't understand what happens when basically every collective part of the black diaspora goes ahead and supports this damn movie. That definitely probably cut into Marvel's Avengers sales. It may, aside from the original, the boosting for it, how quick did Black Panther play from February all the way up until April, and then they dropped the damn DVD?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't anticipate right now that maybe Pusha T's album is going to have the exact same effect of overtaking Kanye, then whoever comes out next. Maybe.
So you think they're piggybacking?
I think to your original point of saying you're not giving it enough time to breathe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So compared to, let's say, Drake might take them all out, and people are going to definitely have. Drake has like
Don't
15.
take Tiana. Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Leave Tiana alone.
Like, don't let Drake have 15 caliber records of Duppy or a Better or Nice for What.
Yeah.
They're going to run some problems over there at Good Music.
But you also know what? I feel like, especially with the recent Kanye rants, I just think that Drake's on the, like, you know what? Fuck it. He's out here in cahoots with this person, that person being pro-Trump. Fuck that nigga. Like, let me go and get him.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
he could be on that tip because of Kanye. And he could be looking at this as like, oh, this is a vulnerable, like, not vulnerable in the sense of like Kanye mentally emotional, but like vulnerability within like the business structure, within like like the whole, like the image of Kanye and everything.
Do you remember when LeBron lost to Golden State, or matter of fact, when LeBron was always like bulkier, and then he adopted a new diet so he can maintain himself to be leaner going forward? I think Drake is always someone who's found the ability to adapt, and he's making sure that I'm prolonging. This is a long game.
Yeah, he got that beard.
Right. So Kanye, aside from the thing, he got the playoff beard. He got the playoff beard.
He got that beard.
Right. So
the
Kanye,
playoff beard.
Playoff beard. So Kanye's going through the shit we're seeing it unravel in the public. Plus the fact that, we got Pusha T. I just feel right now Drake is operating on his grind. He's on that playoff level right now. Like, it's time to go in and compete. Who's going to match that right now? We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, Kanye has a little bit of weakness now, especially when it comes to, like if you look at it, all those recent rants, that TMZ thing, the I love Trump shit, like, his hardcore fans, some of them moved away from Kanye.
Yeah.
The ones that would have been the Twitter warriors being like, no, Kanye's great, da-da-da. Like, some of them backed up.
Yeah.
And that's like, damn, like, that's now a period of time where Drake's like, he knows he could possibly win on the internet. Like, I would say Kanye was one of the people that, before all that stuff happened, Drake would have had his Twitter warriors would have had a hard time going at Kanye's Twitter warriors. I think now there's a break in the shield, there's a break in that wall. Wakanda is a little bit in trouble.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, this is the perfect time to just go in and just hit him hard.
See, it's going to be a good summer.
What I will say, just to sum this up, I think that Push is definitely a formidable opponent. Like, for anybody that's listening or just watching, if you're counting Push out, you're stupid. And that's just me being honest. Push's pen is it's there.
Nice.
It's there. Let's be clear. If you don't know, go do your research.
And
I'm not breaking all that shit
hasn't left ever since he's been in an executive position. Let's make that clear.
It's his pen is there. But the only thing, again, I worry about with Push is all the other aspects of music and battling today. If I could give him any advice, my advice would be stay off Twitter and Instagram unless you have some funny shit to combat. I would say the moment a record is released, that has already happened. You better adhere to the 24-hour rule or less.
Yeah.
And then I would also say, just be ready for all types of antics at this point.
What would be in like a Drake battle rap pack? You know how you have like you have the Hurricane safety pack, you have the Armageddon pack. Like, what would be in a Drake battle rap pack?
Battle rap pack. I got memes. I have fucking funny videos. I have television appearances. I got screens.
And that damn owl, all branded with the owl.
Yeah, all branded with the owl.
I would have that piece of paper that has that super long password, so you don't got them Twitter fingers. Like, you have some crazy ass password and you have it on that piece of paper, so then you have to literally go and do like X capital T 24 dash circles just to even tweet back. Because some of them be responding. You should not be responding back via Twitter with Drake unless you are prepared.
Yeah, especially again in new age media, that people don't respond well, especially when you're a lyricist and you're a rapper. People don't respond well when it comes to that. Like, they just expect bars. A lot of the Pusha T fans I know, and including myself, I'm expecting bars. I don't want to see a tweet. I was disappointed about the tweet. I was like, all right. Even though I got the tweet, I looked at that like...
It was a hat tip. Like,
I see you. I see you. I see the record. I saw it.
All right.
And I'm and I'm gonna retweet myself. I get it. I don't think that was a
he made sure that was at the top of the timeline.
Yeah. He wanted people to know that he acknowledged it. I like that. But at this point, I don't want to hear anything else from Pusha T unless it's a record. Yeah. Unless it is a record, don't do anything else. It's not going to end well the way consumers and rap enthusiasts consume music these days and everything else that comes along with it. So, to your point, it's going to be a fucking interesting summer.
It's going to be a great summer. You know what I mean?
I'm excited
to that for anything else, because, I mean, coming up where you missed the one was like Stay Proud versus the Locks. Yeah, where it's just like we get to that point where people are just throwing out tracks for tracks for tracks. I miss that shit because, you know,
Beanie Siegel and Jada Kiss.
Yeah, like when you're able to go ahead and reference that immediately, and I'm not saying that's in the same type of caliber, but it seems like every time we have these conversations, we're not getting the type of beef we get it like every 2 or 3 years. Yeah, especially with you know, we're so reactionary now on like social media. We don't really get a chance to appreciate it, because if you strip this away, you strip the podcast away. At the end of the day, we're just discussing bars and just like the art form. And I think, you know, more opportunities for that is important.
Yo, but shout out to them artists that are dropping their projects during this time. You got ASAP.
Oh man,
A$AP Rocky.
How do we forget about ASAP?
You also have
Poor
Black
A$AP.
Thought and Ninth Wonder.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to them, man. They still trekking, pushing through.
Yeah, but damn, what bad timing. It's like when we dropped our fucking 420 episode and then Cole wanted to announce his fucking amazing album.
Yeah,
It's such bad timing. And not to they can't help it. They don't know. You know what I'm saying? But they got to be sitting back like, fuck, why did you do this? Like, no one is talking about any of these albums that are out right now.
Well, I would say when it comes to like Ninth and Black Thought,
we just got a release date for that, right?
Yeah, we just got the release date for that. I think with them, it's like when you're kind of like up there as like one of the most excellent rappers, producers, legends. It's like for this kind of stuff, it doesn't really affect you as much because you already have your core solid fan that's going to get you that numbers.
Yeah, it's
like the people like I feel horrible for Rocky. Like, horrible. Like, because he dropped some stuff, like some like videos announcing something with his project or anything like that. And then this shit happened. And it's just like, it went ghost.
And that's
like,
the
no
funny
one
thing.
is.
I mean, but it's just like, remember when, and it's a weird comparison, but when a Big Sean did Control, and, you know, it's not like, even though he allowed it to happen on his track, as soon as that happened, beef sometimes overtakes it, because again, you need that injection of competition. Once you start removing that shit from hip hop, high level competition. Like, I'm not talking about rappers where I know more about their memes than I do more about their hits. Yeah, you know, that's always gonna overtake the conversation because it's important.
I also think too, just to circle back to the Push and Kanye and Drake shit, I think that obviously, they were definitely looking Push in company. I don't know. Well, I got to be Push and good music. I think they were banking on this infrared record. Right. You know what I'm saying? Stirring up shit. I just don't know that they banked on Drake responding the way that he did that fast. Because again, if going back from this timeline, these little tit for tat records have been happening a lot. I think that the Quentin Miller line, it stung. It continues to sting him. And I think that that's
Quentin.
Yeah, and then Quentin was like,
he's like, I didn't work at Kroger, I work at Publix.
Yeah, word. It definitely stung. And then fucking, of course, Complex would put out that thing and put up the wrong fucking Quentin Miller picture. They put up some guy from Schoolboy Q. Like,
that was bad.
Yeah, man, it's so bad.
Listen. I was like, when has ever Schoolboy Q been involved?
Yeah.
Like, what's...
I don't know. Complex wildin', man. Complex is wildin', but I just don't know.
Were they trolling, though?
No, I don't think they was trolling because they took it down after. They knew they fucked up. They hit that panic button like, yo, fam, take that shit down. And then they put up the right picture. Man, but by that time, I had already screenshotted it. So it was
you can't, listen, you can't just... You put something up for a second, even if you delete it. It's already a screenshot. You can't, you know...
Yeah, so it was ball game.
I'm surprised no one like double checked that.
That's what I don't know. It's complex. I don't know, man. What do you want me to do? I don't know. It's crazy.
Everyday struggle.
Everyday struggle. So, but yeah. So I mean, to the listeners, viewers out there, let us know your thoughts. Again, this is a brief timeline. I'm sure we've missed a lot of things, and that was purposely done for time purposes. But let us know your thoughts. What is your take on the Drake and Push beef? What do you think about good music releases and/or these rollout plans? Do you think other labels will be following suit after this? Also, what do you think about the Pusha T album? Are we deeming this a classic, or are we deeming this a good body of work, or what are we deeming this? Let us know your thoughts on it.
A project.
Yeah. And then also hit us up, Grassroots Podcast, and Grassroots Pod, I should say, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and on the link on this chat for YouTube, rather, we're going to put the link for the chat that we always have. We're going to actually discuss this episode like we do every other day with our fam base, and not fan base, fam base. These are our family. We look at these people like family. So our fan base, and that's going to be a link in the description on YouTube. So check that out as well. I just want to point out that I bodied this ending with all of these plugs. I did very well. I spoke very articulately. What? I did?
Kyle Harvey.
Oh, fuck, I did.
No, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay.
But you bought it our part. You definitely did.
No, that was smooth. That's why I was like,
smooth.
damn. And
And
no, it's all
you gotta
good.
do the head bob.
Yeah, I
that
gotta
you're
do
so
that
good
part.
at.
Also, make sure you check out Shadow League. Again, we're going to be doing a lot of great work with them. We have some interesting concepts and things coming up. We're not going to reveal it now, but we have some things in the works. Some
tings.
Yeah, some tings.
That's what they say. I
some
heard.
tings. I won't
Some
say
big tings.
Yeah, I can't say tings.
I only got 3. I'm good.
Yeah, I can't say tings.
Delete this.
Yeah. Word. Edit. But now we have some things we're working on. So, Kyle, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Sharing your insight.
Oh, where can we follow Kyle at?
Oh, follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Harvey Wins, which is my last name plus a verb. Yeah, do that and check out the Shadow League.
So proper.
Yeah. I love
My last name plus a verb.
Plus the verb.
Name and a plus a verb.
Can I just really before we end? Can we talk about how softly Drake spoke at the end of that record? He's like, man, I don't know. Like, don't diss me that hard and then speak so softly at the end. Just don't do it. There's so many things wrong with this record. All right, I gotta go, man.
Oh yeah, and check out the Shadow League and the podcast Points on the Board. We do weekly commentary on sports, culture, and everything that's important. And yeah, more conversations with grassroots.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm Brandon Killabh.
I'm Erin Ashley Simon.
And we out.